Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Season 4 of the Esports Simulation League presented by Education Solutions. We're here for round 1 of the NASCAR Cup Series here at Daytona. 100 laps the distance tonight. Bobby Leo Moxon, your champion, looking to have a great start here at Daytona to defend his Cup title. Starting on the pole for this one. Having some technical issues with the stand-ins. There it is. Looks like the number 31 machine of Gerald Smith is going to be starting on the outside pole. Number 36 of Kyoto Soto going to be having for this race today. Starting in second place at number, or fourth place, that number 42 of Jack Brown with Chris Andrews on his outside. At number 76 in fifth position with David Dunwoody starting to his outside in eighth. Bobby Leo Moxon, watch out for him. He's starting in the 10th position in that number 92 machine. Should see an interesting race out of these guys as they come out of turn number 4. Season 4 about ready to get underway. The pace car bringing these guys down this long dogleg front stretch, pulling down into the pits. Green flag in the air. We are racing NASCAR Cup style. That 31 got a big jump on the outside. He's going to move down to the inside, going down the straight into turn number 1. He's going to take the lead over from Chris Andrews. Wide in the third row. Two cars running up on the outside already. Starting to get the draft of 36 is going to pop to the outside. Soto wants the lead early. He has no help from behind. Number 76 machine. Wings going to pop in behind him, give him a little bit of help. But that bottom line is all set to go. 10 or 12 cars deep. The number 32 machine, Rhett Sawyer, pushing 31 to his first lap lead of the season. Give it to Gerald Smith. First few cars getting single file, trying to escape the 3-wide action in the middle of the pack. Cars going all around. Your first 3 is number 31 of Gerald Smith, Rhett Sawyer in the 32, and the 38 looking to the inside of Rhett Sawyer. That's Straxpool making his way up to the second position, and the number 43, Tyler Markle, making his way up. So a couple cars making some moves here early in the race as we're starting to get spread out here in the top 10. But we all know here at Daytona, that gap turns into a run really fast. So pretty wide to the outside goes Fox Highwind in the 57. And there's Bobby Leo Moxon in that 92 machine, sporting a Dunkin' Donuts paint job this year, giving Fox Highwind a little bit of a push on the outside with Dustin Slider coming in behind him in that 15 Barber machine. 2 by 2 we are now, just like that. The gap goes to side-by-side racing for the lead. Up front, the number 38 machine, Straxpool, making it happen. Inside, Gerald Smith in that 31. Rhett Sawyer going to hop to the outside, no help. He's going to get freight trained, move him back 8 positions. Your leader still Straxpool in that 38 car, but Eric Davis in the 55 right on his tail. Single file now through at least the top 6 cars. And single file on back. 4 laps complete here now at Daytona, and it's been a pretty decent race. Not too much 3-wide action so far. We have got a lot of racing race to come. Lap 20 is our first stage for this one, so we're all racing from that first stage point. And this top 5 is starting to break away from the rest of the pack. Outside in that front pack. Moxon thinks better of it, dips back down to the inside, gets the run on the number 43 machine, and sticks right in behind him as they go down the straightaway. 5 laps complete, 95. And we're starting to get a little spread out through the field. Still 2 wide action from about 8th place on back. We got a little bit of 3 wide action further back in the pack. Got CJ Slava there in the 222, making some moves on the outside. Moving up to the Cup Series this year, your Xfinity champion from last year. Looking to turn some heads this year, running 7th place right here in Daytona. Not a bad start for that young fella there. As they go 3 wide with Dustin Snyder on the inside. As they look at the pile, Snyder makes it through the gamble, but the 8 of Brian Dutton almost gets tapped and turned in turn 1. They all keep it straight. David Dunwoody on his tail, looking to the inside, going to try to make a pass on Delt Jr. there. But he has got a little bit of a momentum loss as that 36 goes flying by on the outside. That's Kyoto Soto. He was out front getting in this race. Now back to 18th position for that number 36 machine. Strax Pool in that number 38. She's still out front. You see Jaron Smith there on the outside in that 31. On the outside pole. He is now back all the way to 12th position in that 31 machine. But these 3 cars out front breaking away from the field, just sitting in line with the draft. Strax Pool at number 55 at Davis and Tyler Markle in that 43 machine. Just pulling away from the field. They've got a good almost 2 seconds over 4th place Bobby Leo Moxon in that 92 machine. Fighting with what looks like it's David Wilson in that 39. Moxon's going to block the high lane and the low lane, acting like he's leading out here in 4th place. Going to try to keep both lines back. You got Chris Andrews in that number 2 machine on the outside. He moves up to block that high line. Wilson just doesn't have the run he needs to get it done. That high line prevails, and Moxon moves back down with those 2 to stay out front of that second pack we got now. With these guys, if they can get it organized, they might be able to chase our leaders down. But now 3 seconds the gap between Moxon and Markle, as these guys just staying in line with each other are just going that much faster than these guys that are back there fighting with each other. You see that 111 car, David Leathers has made his way all the way up to 4th place in that 111 car, up 17 positions from where he started this race. So he is definitely on the move, trying to make things happen at the beginning part of this race. Now he's actually up 21 positions, so still moving towards the front. He's now the leader of that second pack. Moxon has fallen back about 6 or 7 spots. These guys just battling side by side, taking advantage of each other's, only allowing the leaders to pull that much further away. 4.1 seconds now the gap separates the top 3 from the rest of the pack. See Leathers there on the inside in the 111, but David Wilson, with the help of Brian Delt Jr., getting a push on the outside. Wilson's going to drop down in front of the 111. He wants to lead that pack. You see 4th through 16th right here in this pack doing a great job running side by side. 11 laps now complete. 9 more to go until the end of the stage. Bobby Leo Moxon jumped down to the bottom there, trying to move up. Looks like Brian Delp Jr. now leading the pack of cars. CJ Slava trying to make some moves on the inside of these three, but with no help behind, he's going to have to fall in behind Moxon. You see McGee in that 76 machine making his way up to the 22. Got a run in the draft, and he's going to go give Moxon a push. It's not going to be enough to get down the inside slider. Moxon's going to look down to the inside. He's got a little wide action behind these guys, just allowing the leaders to pull a little bit further away, but they're actually starting to kind of catch the leaders. They're getting down to 2.7 seconds. Looks like Eric Davis has gotten passed by Tyler Markle and is now losing a little bit of the draft. A little bit of a gap between him and 1 and 2. But with the little bit of battle these guys had, they lost all that ground they made up. That whole pack is now coming for them. You can see from the back mirror there, the pack is coming. Just a little bit separate them. 2.5 seconds gap between 3rd and 4th. If Davis can't get to the bumper of Markle and start pushing these guys are still going to fall back. And as I say that, Tyler Markle goes to the outside, breaking the draft with the 38 and the 55. This is going to slow the leaders down and allow the pack to catch back up. That number 38 machine is got to be looking in his mirror going, what are you guys doing right now? Davis moves into 2nd, Markle back to 3rd. If you look behind these guys, that number 8, a Brian Delp Jr., and the rest of this field is coming fast. He's got a nice push from Bobby Leo Moxon. Still 2.5 seconds of gap, but with that side-by-side action, I have to imagine these guys are going to be slowed up a little bit. Moxon really working to try to push Delp in that bottom line. The second pack really needs to form up a little bit and just get a little bit going to catch these guys. The front pack showing that they're getting a little racy, but they got back in line. 2 seconds ahead now. See if they can actually pull on the field. That's 15 laps complete now. 5 more laps left in the stage 1. You see Markle loses 3 car lengths on those two going down the front stretch. And it looks to be they're pulling back on the field a little bit more. Will the loss of the 43 make these guys slow down and let this field catch up and give us a bigger battle for this stage win? We'll have to see, but the number 38, Straxpool, is pulling it off. Having a great run out front, 2.7 seconds. Now the gap between Brian Delp Jr. and Tyler Markle. And it looks like these guys are actually pulling away. It's now about 3 seconds as they come across the line. Having an absolutely awesome performance for that number 38 machine. Davison at 55. Just pushing that 38, not really taking too many chances trying to get by him, is actually proving to be a really good strategy for these guys. Getting ready to come to 3 laps to go to the end of the stage. And these guys still pulling on now Bobby Leo Moxon, who's in 4th. Just constantly, you can see in the graphics there, the green and red, that's all the changing of positions in that pack going on. So they're not really organized. They don't have a whole lot of speed behind them. They can get 2 by 2. They might be able to chase these guys down, but I think this is definitely going to be a race for 4th position to the stage. 3 more laps to go. Moxon in 4th. Delp Jr. in 5th. Trying hard to chase these 3 down as Davis goes to the outside. Markle gonna stay on the inside behind the number 38. That's gonna flush Davis to the back. And he's gonna have to pull in behind Markle there as he does. But look how much that allowed the pack to catch up. They were right there behind him. I think they've got the draft. 2 more laps to go left in the stage. Last lap for the stage, the 38, and the pack is caught. There goes Moxon around the outside of Davis. With the help of Delp Jr., he goes down in front of Davis. Delp's not going to be able to make that pass happen. He's going to have to fall back in behind. And Moxon's up to third. He's to the outside of Tyler Markle. Not going to be able to do it. He's going to duck back down to the inside. Davis in fifth, coming hard, but coming down through the tri-oval. Your stage 1 winner is going to be the number 38, Evan Straxpool Ethel. The end of this first stage presented by the Narcolepsy Network. Making things happen here in the Cup Series. Straxpool and that number 38 gonna make it happen for stage number 1. He came out, got up front, and never looked back. Tyler Markle gonna come in second place with Bobby Leo Moxon fighting hard at the end of that stage to make it up to third. Great effort for that number 92 machine. Eric Davis in 55 gonna come home fourth, with Brian Delp Jr. rounding out the top 5 for stage number 1. Coming up, we are going to have pit stops. End of the stage, pit stops. What is going to happen here? We're going to have the number 38 come out of the pits as our leader, or will we have someone new emerge to take the point coming to the green flag? We'll have to wait and see. Looks like everybody's getting ready to come down pit road. Ought to be very, very busy. As they come out of turn number 4, all the teams anxiously waiting on pit road, and none of your leaders coming down to pit road. Only a select few cars gonna actually come down pit road under this caution. It's like the 14 Zachary Taylor is gonna lead your pit cars down. All your leaders gonna stay out though, which ought to make for an interesting second stage. See if we have any guys taking any chances, making pit stops towards the end of the stage under green flag, or will they be waiting to the end of stage number 2? See Zachary Taylor pulling up out of the pits, going to catch back up to the field. But being that far down in the field, you can't imagine that it's too much of a problem to go and get some fresh tires here. You see number 7, Javier Vasquez, pulling out of the pits along with Antoine Bernoulli there in the 1 machine behind him. And there's Frank Wade sporting a new paint job, that number 5 car this year. Getting a new set of rubber under his car, and Will Bustler in the 10 car rounding out your field there. Looks like actually Gunny and Zach in the number 24 car has rounded out your field, taking some pit stops as well. The big show though is that number 38 car, Straxpool, your leader, leading laps of the first stage. doing a great job leading this field, but now is restart time. Getting ready to come to the 1 to go signal. Gonna get these guys double file, side by side, ready to do it again. Tyler Mark moving to the outside. He's gonna lead that outside line in that number 43 machine. And he's gonna have Eric Davis in that 55. We know Davis is a good pusher. We've seen that in the first stage. We'll see if he can make it happen. But down below him, you see the 92 and the 8 machine worked their way from 4 seconds back, got a good push going, caught these guys, and made it a race to the end of the stage. So that 92 and that 8 machine getting picked up is definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Looks like that number 28 machine, that David Dunwoody, has made his way back up the field. He had started in 7th and fell back to the back of the pack and is now back up to 7th in that number 28 car. So good rebound for Dunwoody, and we'll see if he can make anything happen with it. Heading down this long back straight at Daytona. That number 38 car has got to have some nerves with Bobby Leo Moxon on his bumper. The former champion running third. Bobby Leo Moxon actually run the first inaugural esports simulation event here at Daytona in the Cup Series. He's looking to make it another one here at Daytona. Getting ready to come to the green. We're coming out of turn number 4. That pace car is going to hit the safety of pit road, and it's all going to be on that number 38 of Evans, Straxpool Ethel, to bring him down to the green. There goes the pace car. Green flag is in the air. We're back racing at Daytona. Already 3 wide as we go into turn number 1. Davis trying to go around Markle on the outside. He's got a little bit of help from the 36 machine. Not going to be able to do anything as Bobby Leo Moxon moves up and Delp moves into the inside. Brian Delp Jr. going to take 2nd place. And the number 28 of David Dunwoody is in the inside, but he's moving to the outside. No help. David Wilson's going to move past him into P3 with Chris Andrews in the number 2 following him right behind in 4th. Now Wilson's going to jump to the outside, but Andrews is going to go out with him. He's going to fake him out, jump back down to the inside. Wilson going to fall back now. He's got a little bit of help, but his help tries to make it 3 wide, goes to the outside, and Wilson's going to jump back down in front of CJ Slava, who's... Oh, that's not Slava. It's the number 89 machine of Steve Bird, who's made his way up to 5th position. 10 spots up from where he started, having a great run in that number 89 machine. He jumps to the outside to give Chris Andrews some help. But Andrews is going to try to jump back down in front of the 111. Not going to be able to make it. David Leather's going to take that 4th place spot from Andrews. First 4 getting in line again. This could spell trouble for the rest of the field. David Wilson shuffles out to the outside. Leather's going to move to the inside. Move him up to 3rd. And you see Rhett Sawyer in that number 32 machine. Very, very strong car this year here at Daytona. Everybody in this series knows that number 32 machine is not one you want in your bumper as he looks to the inside of David Wilson for 4th. Going to get that run on David Leathers. Is he going to move to the outside going down the straightaway? He doesn't. He's going to tuck in behind Leathers and give a push. The first 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, all in a line trying to run away from the field. Straxpool, Delp Jr., Leathers, and Sawyer. Look at the gap they're putting on the field already. 1 second, the gap already. Sawyer going to look to the outside, not going to think twice. Goes back in line, and these guys are moving. Nose to tail, the first 4 just trying to run away from the field. Tyler Markle in 5th, trying to keep up. But he's got a bunch of stuff going on with that 42 machine. A Jack Brown to his inside, but he's got a great push from Al Andretti. That's going to get him out in front of Brown. And Andretti's going to be left on the outside with David Wilson as some help. They're able to shove back down and get in line. But will they stay in line and be able to catch these leaders now? Wilson's going to jump to the outside once again, not staying in line with these three. And you see the little bit of gap he's already got. But the leader spacing the field early on in this stage. 3 seconds now the gap between Sawyer and Markle. David Leathers 22 spots up from where he started this race, running P3 in that 111 machine. What a great run for that car. As you see, Rhett Sawyer trying to look to the outside. He doesn't have no help. He's going to get shuffled back a little bit. Caution flag is in the air. Lap 29, we've got a caution. Let's see what happens. CJ Slava at 4 wide. Gets into number 31 of Gerald Smith. The 31 machine almost rolls over, rides the fence. You see the 76 dives down below the 222, makes it 4 wide. Contact with CJ Slava, and Wams McGee sends Gerald Smith up on the safer barrier. Everybody else gets through it, a little bit of bumping and banging, but the big loser is that number 31, Gerald Smith, going for a ride in 3-4. So will this caution flag bring on pit stops for your leaders? It's been 10 laps since we had our caution flag for the stage break. It broke it right in half here. Really could go either way if they get some tires now or if they wait 10 laps to see if they get tires for the end of the stage number 2. But we will see as your leader, that number 38 machine really putting on a show today. That's Straxpool Ethel in that number 38. And I guess we'll see if he's going to come down pit road. He's crossing that yellow line. All of your leaders going to be coming down pit road this time. So halfway through the stage, they decide they want some fresh rubber. And that 38 is going to lead them down. Brian Delp Jr. right behind him. It's going to let them guys that pit on the last caution flag. That's going to move them up to the front unless they pit this time as well. I cannot imagine they will. So we'll see if those guys move up to the front of the pack. Busy pit road here on lap number 30. As cars start to pull off, we'll see who makes it out. Looks like Brian Delp Jr. beat everybody out of pit road. Looks like Rhett Sawyer came in behind him with David Leathers coming out third. We'll have to check the official scoring, but it looks like Brian Delp Jr. made it out. It looks like the number 38 machine is possibly deep in the pack. So coming out of the pits, the number 8, Brian Delp Jr. is going to assume the lead here on lap number 31. Rhett Sawyer is going to come out in second right behind him with David Leathers in that number 111. Being in third place. Right behind him, though, in that number 69, he is up 25 positions from where he started in this race. 25 positions. That is just an absolutely awesome number, and Andretti is doing a great job in this race. We've always seen Al Andretti make some awesome moves in this series. And he's going to move to the outside as we get the 1 to go signal. Going to have 7 laps to settle stage number 2. Brian Delp Jr.'s had a very fast car so far today. Pushed Bobby Leo Moxon up front. So we'll see what happens here. Looks like your leader going into this is now being shown 19th position. So pretty rough stop for that number 38 machine. We'll see if he's got the power to make his way through the field and get back up. There he is, a bunch of rows deep on the inside. Brett Sawyer, we've seen what this kid does with fresh air, and he's on the outside, getting ready to go to the restart. Is he going to be able to get a good start on that outside, pull out in front of Delp Jr. and just run away from this? We've seen it happen before. Will it happen here at Daytona? Brian Delp Jr.'s got a lot of experience here on this racetrack, so I can't see him letting that happen. But we're going to go through 3 and 4 and get ready to go back. Green flag racing. Tyler Markle running 5th. On his outside, that's David Wilson in the number 39 machine. Number 56, Freddie Trammell Jr. is going to be on the inside with Javier Vasquez in 8th. Berto De Moya's running 9th, and a 1:15. Ronnie Randolph is 10th. The pace car's off, the green flag's in the air. We're back racing stage number 2 at Daytona. Brian Delp Jr. gets a great run on the start, but here comes Brett Sawyer on his outside. Leathers has to decide. He goes to the outside and takes Sawyer's side. Earl Andretti's going to come down to the inside and take Brian Delp Jr., but the 32 pops down to the inside. He's going to take the lead, move Brett Sawyer up front. David Letters falling back on the outside, losing 3 or 4 positions, and we've got lap traffic coming in front of your leaders. We know what lap traffic means. It is chaos. Never know what they're going to do, but Brett Sawyer's going to be the first car to get there. Brian Delp Jr. pushing hard on the inside. Delp Jr. moves to the outside. Andretti stays on the inside. Sawyer gets caught behind. Delp Jr. moves to the outside. He's going to go. Sawyer's going to hook up with the lap car. That's Frank Wade. Delp Jr. now Wade side by side. That inside line still trying to boost momentum. Delp Jr. moves to the inside, but now he's got Tyler Markle on his outside being pushed by that number 14 machine. Markle moves out. Andrews moves out. Taylor now up front. Taylor made that early pit stop. He was the first car to pit on that last one. Now up running 3rd place. Great spot for him. But Tyler Markle out front. Starting lap number 35, that's 5 more laps to go in this stage. As we get more lap traffic, Markle moves to the outside, leaves Andrews stuck on the inside. Now we've got Delp Jr. running 2nd, looking to the outside of Markle for 1st. Delp Jr. with the help of the lap car. Frank Wade, the number 5, moves up to the lead. Going into turn number 3, Markle has got help from the 36 of Kyoto Soto. Trying to give him a push. But Markle battling hard on the outside with Andrews behind him. 5 laps completed out of the 100 scheduled for today. We've got a little bit of overclass skies. Shade on the racetrack, giving these guys a little bit cooler track, a little bit more grip. There's that number 35 machine pushing hard on the inside. At 35, he's 1 lap down in 33rd, but he's racing like he's in 2nd. He's going to move to the outside. No, he's going to dip back down in front of Andretti. Andretti really needs that 35 to get out of the way so he can get to Brian Delp Jr. He's going to look to the outside. Can he get around him? He's got help moving around. 3 more laps to go in this stage. Andretti trying to make the outside work, but it's not going to happen. Wilson moves up to second place behind that number 35 with Tyler Markle giving him a push. And there's Bobby Leo Moxon coming back into fourth. Moxon's going to look to the outside, but as we've seen, no help. He's not going to have anything to do. He's going to have to drop back down to the inside. Brian Delp Jr. with that number 35 in between them, creating a great gap between him and second place. As we start lap number 38, 2 more laps to go in stage number 2, and these two are starting to break away a little bit. All the battling happening behind. David Wilson holding down second place. Moxon moved to the outside, got out of the way. Now Tyler Markle in that 43 car is coming. Hard on the inside, but gets caught behind the lap car of the 35. But Wilson makes his way on the outside. Can he get by the 35? He's got help from Leathers and Davis on the outside. Moxon joins in. Getting 2 by 2. Now Delp is a little bit out in front of that 35. Might cause him some problems there. As David Wilson is on the outside. We got 1 more lap to go in this stage. Wilson trying to battle the outside of Brian Delp Jr. Leathers giving him a push. There's the gap that between the 35 and the 8. It closed up, the 8 slowed down. Now they're side by side coming out of turn number 2. Delp Jr. on the inside, David Wilson on the outside with the push on the outside. Wilson gets out to the front. He's got a gap and a half behind him to Delp, and now David Leathers moves up front with a push from Davis. Davis stuck on the outside with Wilson below, can't get in. David Leathers all the way up from the back of the field gets pushed. Wilson looks to the outside, coming through the tri-oval. David Leathers is going to take home stage number 2 in the 1-1-1 car. Brian Delp Jr. coming in right behind him. And what an impressive end to stage number 2. Gotta give it up to David Leathers in that 1-1-1 car for pulling out the stage 2 win. David Wilson was right there, but didn't have the run to do it. And what a show that was for the end of stage 2. We got 60 more laps to go here in this event, and it's going to be crazy. David Leathers moving up literally from the back of the field. He is up 24 spots from where he started this race, and he's taken home that stage number 2 win, presented by the Narcolepsy Network. Brian Delp Jr. going to come home second in that stage, with Tyler Markle coming home third. David Wilson, with that strong run on that last lap, comes fourth, with Fox Highwind in that number 57 machine, rounding out your top 5 for stage number 2. Alan Andretti came home 6th. Number 83, Chad Ross, came 7th. Eric Davis is in 8th. Chris Andrews in 9th. And Kyoto Soto in that number 36 machine rounds out your top 10 after 40 laps of racing. Your leader after that last caution we had, that number 38 machine, still back in 19th place. So a little bit of problem getting through the field for Straxpool. He had that open air and it worked great for him. Now that he's in the pack, it's having a little bit more difficult time. So we'll see if during this next stage, if he can make his way back through the field, or if he is just going to be stuck in the middle. We'll have to see. He's got that number 14 machine to Zachary Taylor right behind him. Taylor pitted about 8 laps earlier than the field and got a little further up front due to that. But now he's fallen a little further back. And the fast guys that we've seen all day are back up front. Brian Delp Jr. really holding on to a great spot. He's been running in the top 5 all day long. And Bobby Leo Moxon in 4th and 5th when the first 3 got away and worked his way back up front and has stayed there. You see Bobby Leo Moxon there back in 13th, got shuffled back on the outside. And that just shows you when you get shuffled on the outside, you can fall pretty far back. Moxon's worked his way up from the back so far today a couple times. We'll see if he can do it a 3rd time. Rhett Sawyer there, and you see him right in front of you, or right in front of Moxon in that 32 machine. You know, he'll be looking to get to the front. So he's definitely surrounded by some guys that are pretty quick. He's got David Dunwoody there, the 28. So I definitely expect to see these guys work their way through this field and get back up front. Well, they're going to go past the pit road, and I'm pretty sure we'll get the 1 to go signal here. Get them double file, get them ready to go back racing. And there it is, the 1 lap to go. Brian Delp Jr. going to move to the outside. This time the field is going to be in the hands of David Leathers in that 111 machine. See what he can do on the restart on lap number 44. All right, folks, coming into turn number 3, getting ready to start the 3rd and final stage. David Leathers in the 111 leading the field with Brian Delp Jr. on his outside. That 8 machine's been super strong today. We'll see what he's got. Tyler Markle, David Wilson, and Fox Highwind round out your top 5. And as the pace car gets ready to duck off here, we're going to crank it up for the start of the 3rd and final stage at Daytona. Green flag in the air, we're back racing. And a caution flag in the air. Big junk in 3 and 4 on the restart. We will go back and see what happened. Rich Pratchard involved. Looks like we got 4 wide between Sawyer, the 115, the 42, and the 38 car. 36 car. 3 wide, you see Wilson up top. Rich Pratchard gets into the back of the 36. The 115 hits the apron. You see him getting loose there. Touches Rhett Sawyer. Turns Rhett Sawyer around. And that backs everybody up. Sawyer gets into Taylor, who gets into Pratchard. Sends Pratchard wall riding. Sawyer up into the wall. And who's that? Someone nowhere to go. Right into Sawyer T-boned. You see the 115. We'll take a look at Rich Pratchard's view. 115 gets down below Sawyer. 4 wide, hits that apron, touches Sawyer, and sends Taylor right up into Pratchard. Nowhere for Rich Pratchard to go. And up into the wall. ending the day for that number 86 machine. David Leathers, your leader at that caution. Tyler Markle running third, and Chad Ross, one of our free agent drivers in the 83 machine, running third place. So having a great run for that unsponsored machine. Got Rhett Sawyer running fourth. And look who's back from 13th position. That number 92 machine, Bobby Leo Moxon, making his way through the field back up front. You can see Brian Delp Jr. fell back a few spots on that one. He's now back to 8th position behind Chris Andrews. But he has got that number 55, Davis, behind him, ready to push. That 55 worked with that top three that Delp and Moxon had to chase down. So we know that 55 is a good pusher. We know that 8's a good leader. We'll see if that duo can make it happen on the restart here. Our first actual wreck in this race takes a few cars out. And that was definitely a bummer for Rich Prasher, and Zachary Taylor in that 14 machine got some damage there. That was a bummer for him as well. They're 2 by 2. Coming down the backstretch, you see we've got some more overcast. It's getting a little shady here. Should spice up the action. David Leathers leading your pack with Tyler Markle on his outside. Chad Ross running third with Fox Highwind and Bobby Leo Moxon running behind him. David Dunwoody's got his number 28 machine up to 6th place, with Chris Andrews and Brian Delp Jr. in that 4th row. Eric Davis and Alan Trenny rounding out your top 10. Some heavy hitters here in the front of your field as the pace car gets ready to duck on off to pit lane. We're going to get ready to go green flag racing. The green flag's in the air, throttle down. David Leathers bringing him to the straight. Pack already. Tyler Markle moves to the outside and has got no help. Delp Jr. is going to jump to the outside. That could help. Nobody there. They're going to fall back. Leathers being pushed now on the inside. Andrews making his way up to 3rd. Ross in 2nd in that 83 machine. And you see Davis there up to 4th already. Falling back hard. Javier Vasquez makes his way up to 5th. He's going to look to the outside of Davis. That's not going to do it. And who is that looking to the inside for 5th place? That's none other than the number 38, Straxpool Ethel, making his way back up the field. From 19th place back up to 5th. Now trying to find his way around this car for fourth. Not going to do it. He's going to get pushed to the outside by Dustin Slider and Earl Andretti. Andretti pushes Slider to the outside now. Oh, and look at that gap fill up real fast. Moxon moves the 38 to the outside, gets behind Slider in that 15. Things are getting hairy at the front of this pack. The first three cars once again pulling away, but having an own fight of their own. Andrews going to the outside of Leathers. Leathers with no help. Davis is going to go to the outside with Andrews. This is going to slow that front pack down and allow that second pack to pick back up. New leader number 2, Chris Andrews on lap number 50. Davis is going to fall in behind with Leathers in third, but that field is going to catch up really fast now that these guys did that. Leathers going to look back to the outside, but stay in line. Chad Ross, the leader of your second pack, and those guys are in line as well. Should be interesting. A few of these guys are fighting. Brian Delp Jr.'s working his way back on the outside, trying to make something happen there. But that 4-car pack is going to start pulling away. Sitting there in line like that. David Leathers trying to catch back up and get back on Davis's tail so that they can get a good arrow run, but he's going to look to the outside a little bit. That's going to break some of the draft. Can these guys pull away from the bigger pack? Andrews in a great spot. We're halfway through the race now. 51 laps completed, 49 more to go. Andrews, Davis, and Leathers, your top 3. Leathers going to look to the outside in a daring move way out front. No help, not going to be able to do anything. That's just going to slow down that pack. He's going to catch right back up to Davis on the inside. And Chad Ross is coming 1.5 seconds back for that number 83 with Andretti giving him a great push. Brian Delp Jr. still holding on in the top 10, running 8th place. Made a daring move to the outside, and it somehow paid off for him. You can see Bobby Leomox and a couple car lengths behind him in 10th place, trying to rally some of this field behind him to catch back up. They are having nothing of it. They're trying to tag team him between the 36 and the 43. Looking to the outside of Bobby Leo Moxon. Markle's going to come down to the inside and give Moxon the help. He's got that preferred line on the inside. McGee's going to pop in behind Markle and try to give him a 3-man rush. Markle's going to look to the inside and try to take that 10th place away from Moxon. Actually, 9th place. See there's Markle moving up to 9th. Moxon's going to fall out of the top 10 now. And that number 76 machine and McGee taking him over. And our leaders are shuffling. Davis moves to the outside. Leathers gets right up on your leader, gives him a great push. Leathers still the top performing driver along with Andretti here. Both up 23 spots from their starting position. Leathers would love to make it 24. Davis falls off the pace of these two. The 1 and 11 are just flying right now. Half a second now. Davis might have lost the draft with these guys. He might have to fall back to Chad Ross coming a 2.5 seconds back. We'll see if he can actually stay in the draft and catch back up to your leaders, or is this second pack of 5 cars going to catch him? Ross and Andretti trying hard. These guys are battling all over, switching up. Dunwoody trying to make it happen. Going 3 wide down the front stretch. Javier Vasquez is going to come out on top. They're going to go 3 wide again, going through 3 and 4. Someone needs to tell these guys they're not catching the leaders going 3 wide. The leaders are all single file. That just doesn't happen as the leader is going to be pulling further away. Andrews and Leathers just putting a hurting on everybody right now. Pulling away from Davis by over a second. Second and a half now. So Davis definitely lost the draft. Be interesting to see what happens with him when that second pack catches up to them. They're not really in line, so they're not going to have a whole lot of speed, but they definitely have a little bit of draft, so they're going to be a little bit faster than this 55. We'll see if he shuffles back or can hold them off. Fight back up to them front two, who are just absolutely running away from these guys. Davis moves to the outside, tries to get some help from Vasquez. Ross gonna push down on the inside. Vasquez's help is actually helping it, and Andretti's gonna join him on the outside. 2 by 2 now. If they stay 2 by 2, they might be able to catch the leaders. Eric Davis does hold him off. He doesn't let him fly by, which is actually very surprising that he didn't really get Freight Train running by himself here at Daytona. Great car control for that number 55 machine to stay in 3rd place for right now, but they are 4 seconds behind Andrews and Leathers. And with these guys shuffling positions as much as they are, I don't see them catching them anytime soon. Last pit stop was over almost 30 laps ago, and they decided to pit with 30 laps on their tires. And we are getting close to that mark. So will we have some pit stops here coming up soon? Or will we get cars that try to make it to the end? We will see. But 70 laps on tires and fuel, I have to imagine they're going to have to come down for one more stop. We take a look back up front between Andrews and Leathers, just cruising out front. They are losing a little bit of time to Eric Davis. 3.3 the gap now. As you see, the guys in the second field have kind of got their stuff together, and they're running in line as I say that one car pull out and try to gather it up. You see Davis and Andretti, and it looks like David Dunwoody working his way, trying to get up towards the front. Freeway car. Oh, it's Javier Vasquez in the number 7. That's not David. Working his way up with Andretti and Davis, and they are catching the leaders fairly quickly. Staying in line like that. And we've got looks like a lap car there coming in front of your leaders. Be interested to see if both of them go around or if just one of them does. Here it comes. Here comes Andrews. He goes to the outside. Leather goes to the outside. Leather stays to the inside. This is what I'm talking about. This is going to break him up. This is going to slow him down. And Eric Davis in that number 55 machine. Now those two, they know they're going to catch. They break up a little bit. That's definitely going to help your leaders. Davis has got a great run on that lap car. Can he catch these two before they pull away from him? Can he get in their draft? It doesn't look like it. They're already hooked back up. That's Rich Pratchett in the 86 mixing things up. He's ready back on Davis's tail. Can Vasquez get there and give these guys some help? He's going to. Andretti's going to try to get past Davis on the outside, but Vasquez is going to go down to the inside and help Davis. Andretti there in the 69, up 4 spots right now from where he started. Still a great run for him. But if he can't catch these guys here in the next lap, he may lose the draft and have to run with Pratchard. But the gap now 1.5 seconds between Davis and Leathers for that second and third position. And we've got a battle for the lead. David Leathers takes over the lead from Chris Andrews going through 1 and 2 and finishes down the back straightaway. That's going to break up their draft and allow the cars behind him to catch back up just a little more. You can't even see Andrews in the screen. There he is. Now he's popping back up, but there's Davis and Andretti coming hard. Davis has the draft of the leaders now. He's going to look to the outside of Andrews, going up into turn number 1. Is Andretti going to follow him? No, Andretti's going to stay behind Andrews on the inside, leaving Davis on the outside with no help. Davis is going to have to fall into the inside of Andretti there in P4. But now we have got a 4-way battle for the lead, about to be a 5-way battle for the lead, as Javier Vasquez is clinging onto the draft of Davis, trying to catch back up. Will the leaders pull away from these two? It looks like Davis is losing the draft of the leaders as they go side by side in front of them. Andretti goes to the bottom of Andrews, moving Andretti up to second behind Leathers. And we've got a 3-wide battle of lap traffic right in front of your leaders. This is going to mix it up. These guys are not moving, still 3 wide as we go down the backstretch. Here comes your leaders. Which lane is Leathers going to take? Leathers going to look to the outside. Andretti on the inside. Pick your lap, guy, and let's go for it. Andretti on the inside getting some help from Andrews and Davis. Leathers not getting any help on the outside. Whose lap car's more messed up? There's the 38. The 38 car's missing a nose on the inside in front of your leaders. A rough break for Straxpool. Did not see where that happened, but a rough break for that number 38 machine. As now we've got lap traffic in front of the leaders. Is that going to slow them down and allow the pack to catch back up, or can these guys get by? As you see Leathers working his way on the outside with Vasquez in second now. Those two working their way on the outside. They're going to get by the lap pack first. Oh, we got cars coming in the pits. That slowed some people down. We got 3 wide a little further back. Coming across the stripe, David Leathers going to be showing your leader still. But he is pulling away from the field way too much. He is going to have some issues on his hands and some runs coming, as these guys are really coming. There's Brian Delp Jr. Brian Delp Jr. back up to third place. Where did he come from? Javier Vasquez looking on the outside of Leathers, and he's going to have help from Delp. Leathers ain't got no help, but Javier Vasquez going to pull down to the inside, leave Delp all by himself on the outside. Your top 3, Leathers, Vasquez, and Delp Jr. Almost 40 laps on these tires and on this fuel tank here at Daytona. We have to be seeing some green flag pit stops here soon if these guys really want to break this stop in half. Getting close to 30 laps to go, so we know they took a pit stop on lap number 30. So they should theoretically be able to make it from now. And as I say that, Javier Vasquez and a bunch of cars. Looks like Brian Delp Jr. going to be the second car to come down pit road. And green flag pit stops have started, ladies and gentlemen. Javier Vasquez is going to be the first to lead down. I see David Wilson. I see Davis. I see Andrews. I see Brian Delp Jr. A bunch of fast cars on pit road now. David Leathers stays out, and he's going to maintain the lead for right now. There you see Javier Vasquez and Brian Delp Jr. pulling back onto the super speedway. They are going to be good for the rest of this race. I see Bobby Leo Moxon and Andretti coming to pit road. There's your leader, David Leathers, coming to pit road. So this is mixing things up. Bobby Leo Moxon comes in right behind your leader. David Dunwoody currently being shown in lead. The number 7, Javier Vasquez, coming on turn number 4. Is he going to take over the lead from David Dunwoody? Looks like Leathers is back out front of Bobby Leo Moxon on the pit road. You see Andretti there. There's Moxon going down the back straightaway as Javier Vasquez gets caught up to Moxon, goes past him on the outside. Don't think he's going to catch up to Leathers, though, unless Leathers doesn't have any help. And Leathers has zero help by him, with Bobby Leo Moxon powering to the inside of Javier Vasquez. 30 more laps to go here at Daytona. No more pit stops left. It's just these guys and these tires. Bobby Leo Moxon in second place with Javier Vasquez in third. Both of them trying to get together to chase down David Leathers in that 111 car. Putting on a great show today in that Fanatec powered Toyota. But now he's in trouble. He's got Vasquez and Moxon linked up behind him, and he's got no drafting help. That pack behind him, you got Andretti, Brian Delp Jr., and David Wilson. Looks like David Wilson fell off of these two. They're going to keep battling each other. And Moxon and Vasquez just have not been able to actually link up yet. So Leathers might be okay for a minute. He's got about a second back to Moxon. And it looks like Moxon's got his draft and is catching him. Moxon's going to catch him. Is he going to go to the outside and try to pass? Yes, he is. With that draft, with that run, he's going to try to slingshot past the 111. And Vasquez is not anywhere near. So I have to imagine that 92 is going to get it done unless that 111 can use the side draft. And that's what he's doing. He's using that side draft to keep him back. The 111 is going to hold on to the lead as they go side by side down the backstretch. Moxon trying to hold on to that inside, but this side-by-side racing is going to allow Javier Vasquez to pick and choose who he wants. He chooses the outside lane with Bobby Leo Moxon, and Bobby Leo Moxon moves down to the lead. Lap number 74 now. 26 more laps to go. Bobby Leo Moxon moves out in front of your field. Javier Vasquez in second. David Leathers now down to third. Leathers going to look to the outside. That's going to slow these guys down a little bit. And who's leading that second pack right now? It's Brian Delp Jr. in that number 8 machine, with Al Andretti right behind him in that number 69. Those two staying nose to tail will catch your leaders, because those leaders are not staying in line. Moxon's got a big gap between him and Leathers. And that's going to allow Delp Jr. and Al Andretti to catch these guys, and they're almost caught up already to Javier Vasquez. They've sniffed his draft. Are they going to catch up with him, or are they going to go to the outside? Delp Jr. is going to go to the outside, and Andretti's going to go to the inside. And that's going to make it a three-way battle here. And Leathers moves to the outside of Moxon, trying to make something happen. Got a 5-way battle for the lead. Andretti and Delp Jr. made their way back up to this lead pack, and we have got a big pack of lap cars going into turn number 1 that's going to be in the way of your leaders. 25 more laps to go. We are 3/4 of the way through this race here at Daytona. Bobby Leo Moxon putting on a show, leading your field with David Leathers to his outside, not wanting to give up that front spot. Javier Vasquez giving a nice push to the 92, but Brian Delp Jr. giving a great push to that 111. Andretti sitting back there in 5th, trying to figure out what he's going to do, which side he wants. Looks like he's going to go to the outside, give Delp a push, and Delp is going to drop down to the inside, leaving him out there all alone. Leathers still trying to make it happen on the outside of Moxon, slowing them two down, and here comes Delp Jr. to the outside to help Leathers out. Give the advantage to the 111 on the outside. He's going to move to the front and move down in front of Moxon. Now it's the 8 and the 92 battling side by side. Delp's going to have to fall in behind the 92, because here comes Andretti to give a push. Andretti's going to move to the outside and give Delp a push. Move Brian Delp Jr. up to 2nd place. He's going to move down in front of Bobby Leo Moxon and try to chase down that 111 car. But as you see, there's about 10 or 12 lap cars going into turn number 1. Going to be catching them here in the next few laps. The 92 and the 8 hook up, and they've got a run on the 11. Moxon stays on the inside. Delp goes to the outside. He's going to lose that momentum. Moxon's going to move up to 2nd, and now we're passing lap cars to the outside of Zachary Taylor. Great pulled off move by those two. Taylor slows up Delp Jr. really bad. Delp now back to 5th place. Bobby Leo Moxon going to look to the outside of David Leathers coming through the trioval. Going to be side by side as we go through into turn number 1. There's so much lap traffic in the turn. These guys are definitely going to catch him here. Who is going to come out on top? We got 4 lap cars in the immediate vicinity and a bunch more going down single file and going all crazy now, going into 3. Moxon's going to try to go to the outside. Vasquez is going to go to the middle. Leathers on the bottom, 3 wide. Can Moxon get by these guys all by himself up there? And we got a car going down in the pits right in front of your leaders. Leathers takes advantage with Andretti right behind him, gets by. Moxon falls back a couple spots. Still stuck on the outside. No help for the 92 machine. Half a second to the next 2 lap cars that are going to get in the way. Andretti trying to catch Leathers before they get there. Leathers goes to the outside of lap traffic. Andretti goes to the outside and stays with Leathers. And here comes Bobby Leo Moxon, 3rd place. He's going to come up to the outside behind Andretti. You see Rhett Sawyer in the 32 getting lapped going into the pits, crossing over the line. 20 more laps to go here at Daytona. David Leathers back in the lead in the 1-1-1. Al Andretti looking to the outside, trying to take that lead away. Lap cars behind. Bobby Leo Moxon gets a lap car between him and Andretti, but it's going to push Andretti out to the lead. And Bobby Leo Moxon's going to try to follow in behind. Not going to be able to make it happen, though. That 96 slows him way up. Leathers moves in and tries to make a pass on the outside of Andretti. Leathers with the momentum on the outside, going to get back by Andretti by himself. Move him back up to P1. Bobby Leo Moxon now right behind Andretti, trying to give a push. Will Andretti move to the outside and try to make a run on Leathers? Or will he just push that car? We got a bunch of lap traffic coming up. That's going to be a factor. Andretti moves to the outside a little. Man, here it goes. Look at the outside. We've got lap traffic going to be going into turn 3. Rich Pratchard in the way of Andretti, keeping Leathers out front. A lap car moves up, allows Leathers and Moxon to get up underneath. That's the 24 machine, Zach Haldorf. Very smart move by him to let them leaders go by. And that's slowing up a couple of your other guys. Vasquez and Andretti getting the short end of that stick right there. Getting caught behind a bunch of slower cars as the 92 and 111 go side by side trying to battle for the lead down the back straightaway. Moxon's got the advantage going into 3, but the 111's got the preferred line on the inside. Now we've got a pack of lap cars forming up behind your leaders. Moxon trying to make it happen. Not going to lead that lap. This Leathers has just got too much of a push from Ronnie Randolph on the inside of that 115 car. Moxon getting a little bit of help from 96. And Andretti's made his way back up here. Andretti's putting his nose, trying to get by the 111 on the outside. So much of a push on that inside that Andretti just can't get it done with that lap car in front of him. You see David Wilson moving to the inside. David Wilson up to 3rd place in that 39 machine. Cars catching back up to these lap guys with all this lap traffic in here. Moxon gets on the outside. He's going to take the lead. He's got David Wilson right behind him, giving him a push. Can David Wilson get by the 111? That's CJ Slava in the 222 under threat from going a lap down. Brian Delp Jr. right there pushing the 111. And look at that, the top line breaks apart. David Leathers and Brian Delp Jr. make it happen on the inside. David Wilson and Brian Delp Jr. going to look to the outside of the 111. Not going to think twice. Move back in. 15 more laps to go. David Leathers still out front pushing the 222. CJ Slava around the corner. Slava trying not to go a lap down here as the leaders are really pushing. Leathers looks to the outside and Andrews goes with him. Delp Jr. going to stick behind CJ Slava and see if he can get it done on the inside, but no, there's just not enough power with that 222. Leathers going to get by. Andrews going to be battling on the top now all by himself. We've got a big pack of lap cars here now, though, that the leader's right in the middle of. Looks like Rhett Sawyer's leading this little pack of cars. Way through it. He's already most of the way through this pack. But he's got Brian Delp Jr. right on his tail with Bobby Leo Mox, and Delp's going to the outside with Slava. Couple cars moving, trying to stay in front of these leaders. As you see Bobby Leo Mox in there in second. He's got David Dunwoody on his tail for some help. Rhett Sawyer's in front of these guys, holding them up. Brian Delp Jr. couldn't do nothing with C-Racing. See if the leader tries to jump out and do anything. And there he does. He jumps out to the outside. Chris Andrews on the outside. David Dunwoody and Brian Leo Moxon on the inside. I have to imagine that outside's going to get it done with that 32 having some damage. Just one car on that outside should help the 111 get by, and as you see Andrews get there, it happens. David Leathers making all of the right moves tonight in that 111 machine to stay out front. Chris Andrews in that number 2 machine doing everything he can to stay on his tail. Starting to close down the laps now. 12 more laps to go. David Leathers has made his way through 15 lap cars and now has a bunch of clean air in front of him. And he's got some help in the form of the number 2 of Chris Andrews. We'll see if Andrews becomes a help or if he's actually going to become a burden. Andrews definitely wants this win. But David Leathers in that 111 car, if he doesn't win this race, it will be a major upset. He's led a lot of laps here. He's put on a great show. And we are working on lap number 90 of 100. You see the one car of Antoine Bernoulli and Rhett Sawyer there in between Andrews and Moxon. There for third. Delp Jr. there right behind him in fourth. David Wilson in that David Dunwoody in that number 28 machine is running fifth. Single file through 3 and 4. These lap cars do not want to lose these guys, but that 92 and 8 stuck behind these 2 lap cars definitely need to figure something out as they come across the stripe. We got 10 more laps to go here at Daytona for the Season 4 opener of the NASCAR Cup Series. Almost had cars go to the top side, but they're all staying in line. This is the most we've seen cars stay in line all day long. And they're doing it with only 10 to go. We got a couple cars moving up. Andrews moves to the outside of Leathers, going for the lead, going to 3 and 4. Moxon moves to the outside, trying to get something done. Can they get a run? No. Brian Delp Jr.'s on the inside behind Sawyer, trying to give a push. He's going to try to move past Andrews on the inside, and he's going to do it. Now he's going to move to the outside with Bobby Leo Moxon. Those two get around Rhett Sawyer. Now they've got their eyes fixed on that 111 of David Leathers. No more lap cars in between, but we're coming up on one more. 2 more lap cars. We got another one coming here. This ought to make it interesting. And Brian Delp Jr. moves to the lead on the outside, with Chris Andrews and David Dunwoody giving a push. David Leathers getting stuck behind the number 31 of Gerald Smith. Brian Delp Jr. takes the lead, but Chris Andrews, David Dunwoody on the outside pushing hard. 3 wide going into turn number 1 with 7 more laps to go. Brian Delp Jr. comes out on top of that. David Leathers gets down inside of Smith. Move Leathers right behind David Dunwoody. Will we see that 111 pull out some stunts and get back to the front? Bobby Leo Moxon looks to the outside for P2. Your leader is going to stay nose to tail. Bobby Leo Moxon is not going to have anything to do with that. He's going to have to fall right back inside. stay in line. We got one more lap car coming up. David Dunwoody, Chris Andrews, 4th and 5th, trying to catch back up to your leaders. But these guys being nose to tail is not going to work. As Delp goes to the outside of this car, Moxon's going to follow, and Leathers is going to stay to the inside. That might help him. David Dunwoody comes back. Chris Andrews is back. We're now 3 wide down the backstretch. Brian Delp Jr., your current leader there in the middle lane, but David Dunwoody right behind him in that 28 machine. Trying to get around the lap car, Freddie Chamel Jr. in that number 56. David Dunwoody goes to the outside with help of Andrews, going to try to take Brian Delp Jr. as Delp Jr. doesn't have any help for a second. Now Trammell Jr. there, but Andrews catching back up to Dunwoody on the outside. But across the stripe, 6 more laps to go. Brian Delp Jr.'s got that inside, but here comes David Dunwoody. And Chris Andrews on the outside of the number 2 trying to make it work. But with Moxon and Leathers down on the inside behind Trammell Jr., they just can't get it done. There's too much force behind that bottom lane. Delp Jr.'s in a great spot. He's got a lap car behind him on the inside. Leathers cannot get by that 56, but we've seen that 1-1-1. If that 56 moves up and opens that door, Leathers will take it. And there it is, right there. The 56 moves up. Leathers moves down to the inside. Now Leathers going to be right behind your leader, Brian Delp Jr. 5 more laps to go. We looks like we got a few cars coming out of the pits. Hopefully they don't get in the way. Your top 3, Delp Jr., Leathers, and Andrews. But don't leave out Bobby Leo Moxon and David Dunwoody there fighting for 4th and 5th. Trying to catch back up to these guys. We got a 5-way battle with 5 more laps to go. Delp Jr. and Leathers been up front all day. Bobby Leo Moxon's fought his way from the back 4 times today. And David Dunwoody letting his presence be known that he's here for the count. Coming across the stripe, Dunwoody's looking to the outside. 4 more laps to go. They're going to stay single file going into turn number 1. Dunwoody and Moxon after that little dip out. A couple car lengths behind, going to have to catch back up. David Leathers in the perfect spot right now, ready to pounce on Brian Delp Jr. for any mistake he may have. I don't see any lap cars in the distance so far. But they've got 6.5 more miles to settle it. We do have a few lap cars going into turn 1 right now. With 3 more laps to go. What is on Brian Delp Jr.'s mind, and what is on David Leathers' mind? He's been leading most of this race. He's made amazing moves to stay out front. Now, he is in the best spot to win this race. P2, right behind the leader. No lap cars in the way. And we're coming up on 2 more laps to go. It doesn't get better than this. A 5-way battle. There's David Dunwoody. He moves to the inside, allows Bobby Leo Moxon to get a run on the inside. Bobby Leo Moxon's going to look to the outside of Andrews, and as we come up on lap cars, David Leathers going to look to the outside of Brian Delp Jr. He's going to have help, and Bobby Leo Moxon move David Leathers back up to the lead. Bobby Leo Moxon gets past that lap car and move him into second. David Dunwoody trying to make a run on the outside of Brian Delp Jr. Can't make it done. Your leader, David Leathers, has got to push for Bobby Leo Moxon. These two have got a gap between 3rd, 4th, and 5th because of that lap car. Coming out of turn number 4, David Leathers in the lead. Bobby Leo Moxon in second. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go. Moxon looks to the high side, falls back inside. Got a couple lap cars going through 1 and 2. Bobby Leo Moxon half a car length off the 111's bumper. Could get a run coming here down the straightaway, and no one's going to have help. Will Bobby Leo Moxon look to the outside going into turn number 3? He's not looking yet. He's staying right behind the 111. They go into turn number 1. David Leathers leading Bobby Leo Moxon 1 car length behind. And as they come out of turn number 4, Bobby Leo Moxon looks to the outside. Coming across the stripe, your winner is going to be the number 111. David Leathers going to bring home the victory here at Daytona in the Education Solutions 100. Wow, what a performance for that 111 machine. Really put it all on the line today. Had a perfect drive and shows it up with a win. Bobby Leo Moxon starting on the outside pole, finishing in second place. What a great run for your season champion last year. David Dunwoody finishing out that podium in third place with that number 28 machine. Brian Delp Jr. coming home in fourth. Chris Andrews coming home fifth. David Wilson with an amazing sixth place finish. Tyler Markle, after being up front most of the race, finished seventh. Alan Dreddy comes home eighth. Javier Vasquez takes home ninth. And rounding out your top 10, Kyoto Soto takes that number 36 machine and parks it in 10th position. From everybody here at the Esports Simulation League, thanks for coming out and joining us tonight, and we will see you next time.